Welcome back to Hey Girl Hey, Life Through the Lens of Female Friendship. I'm your host, Becky Kessler Sykes, and we are back for season 2. I took a little break to enjoy the holiday with my family and launched my new coaching business, Hey Girl Hey Coaching, that you can find at heygirlheycoaching.com. But we are kicking off season 2. We have an amazing roster of guests coming together already. The title of this conversation is Into the Mystic, and if you know Jen, that title just fits. Jen is all things soulful on her earthly journey. She is a meditation teacher, a life and career coach, an artist, an empath in the most grounded, gentle way. We met years ago in the yoga rooms and later found ourselves in a small creative group that met weekly, where we supported one another's creative endeavors and works in progress. Jen's life has unfolded in ways that feel both intentional and brave, leaving the corporate world, choosing simplicity, nurturing creativity, navigating love across distance, and continuing to listen deeply to what her soul is asking for. I'm so excited for you to meet her, and I'm excited to get to know her more deeply. Jen Becherer, welcome. Hey Girl Hey.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure and honor to be here and spend time with you in your beautiful podcast.
Thank you. The honor is all mine. And we are going to jump right in. And I'd love to start at the beginning, or at least a beginning. Can you share a bit about your journey into meditation, what first called you there, and why it's become such an important part of your life?
I love this question because meditation has been such a powerful catalyst for me in my own life. Being raised in Minnesota, there was no talk of meditation back in that day.
Right.
And when I moved here to California, it was something that a friend introduced me to, and I'd never heard of it. I thought, how can you sit and not speak, not think, to relax yourself? And I started with some very well-known meditation teachers who guided me on this path. And what was beautiful is they integrated breath into meditation, which when you combine the two, has an even more powerful effect on the psyche and on the nervous system.
Right.
And so when I started using it, I saw firsthand the power of healing that it could hold. That's why I'm sharing it now with others, with my clients.
That's amazing. I relate to the being from a place that doesn't necessarily embrace or put those things forth as much. I'm from Texas, and it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
When I moved out to California, that's a lot of the reason why a lot of us move out. There is a seeking quality of how do we take the lid off and learn new things? There's got to be some other ways. So you mentioned the breathing. I was going to ask more specifically. I have taken meditation class with you, which is amazing, by the way, and we're going to plug where you can find that very soon. But you've used box breathing before, which is just a really simple breathing technique that even the most amateur meditator could use. I was wondering if you could talk us through that just really briefly, and then maybe a couple of other breathing styles that you've used that help you.
Absolutely. All of the breath work that I teach is science-backed. I always say I'm all about the woo. There's nothing wrong with the woo and the fairy and all of that. I'm all on board, but I do teach from a more proof-based standpoint. So with the 4-part breath or box breath, how you do this breath is visualize a box. And in through the nose, you breathe in for a count of 4. You hold the breath for a count of 4. You breathe out through the nose for a count of 4, and you hold it out for a count of 4. And what this does, when repeated, it really helps ground and calm the nervous system. It takes you from fight or flight into a more calm state. And you'll see, as you saw in the class that you took with me, it doesn't take a long time in order to start feeling those beneficial effects of the breath work.
Absolutely. What did meditation give you that you didn't even know you were missing?
When I meditate, there's this calmness that comes over me, this reassurance that even if the outside world is completely chaotic, that inside here is okay. That there's a knowing that everything will be okay. The meditation really is the therapy. It really gets into the heart and gives that comfort. Also expands the creative brain space, because as an artist as well, I need that brain space to be able to create. I think that it also opens that container of the possibility, the what ifs, the curious mind. It's that level of curiosity.
Yes.
And I love that word. I talk to my clients a lot about just be curious.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're curious, you're able to, without attachment, go into the thought, go into the shadow self or the dark places and get curious of why it's coming up.
Absolutely.
And when you start getting curious, that's like starting to peel back the layers and see what's on the inside so that you can truly help dismantle these limiting beliefs or negative self-talk or whatnot.
I would imagine that just blows your relationships wide open too, and the kind of connection you can have with other people when you're so authentically connected to yourself without judgment and just curiosity. So the curiosity is a big piece that I think lends to coaching. But before we segue into that, I would love you to give our viewers and listeners an opportunity to find you online, where they can take meditation classes with you, and a little insight into how they can find you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the main place that you can find me is on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I post all of my classes that I'm teaching on LinkedIn. It's a great place to connect and see what's going on there. So just go to LinkedIn and type in Jennifer Becherer. It's Becherer, and you can connect with me there. Or if you prefer Instagram, you can also find me at Moonbirds1. So it's MOONBIRDZ1.
Perfect. And I'm going to link both of these things on our YouTube channel so that you can go straight to finding Jen and find yourself in some great meditation classes. Her rates are amazing. Do it. You'll feel much better. I've meditated with her a number of times, and she's got the quality of voice, the calming presence. You're such a great meditation teacher. So thank you for sharing that with everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, so now into your work as a coach, which feels like a natural extension of your presence and intuition. It's such an exciting path to go down, to be of service to other people, to hold space, to be curious, and to help people really tap into their truest selves and hopefully their best selves. How did coaching enter your life, and what kind of work lights you up the most when you're supporting others?
I love these questions because my career journey started in entertainment.
Okay.
I worked on the graphics and arts for video games. That I segued into film and TV, doing art direction and creative project management. I was the director of creative advertising at Warner Brothers. And as you know from our creative group,
yes,
it came with a lot of stress. It was very fulfilling in many ways, but there was a lot of stress involved. And it was interesting because they always say that when we go through our toughest times in life, or when we're challenged the most by a person, these are the opportunities of growth. Even though it does not feel good when we're going through it, on the hindsight, it can be very beneficial. And essentially what happened was I had a boss later in my career at WB who was very challenging.
What a nice way to put it.
Trying to be politically correct. This particular boss, she was that catalyst to push me into coaching because I realized from the experience that I was having with her that there was a real lack of leadership happening in the department. And I was noticing that a lot of my colleagues were coming to me asking for advice, needing help, really trying to understand and navigate the emotions that were attached to coming into work every day and having to experience this. And so that got me into coaching. I decided to get my certification, go through my education, which I know you're going through right now.
Shout out CTA.
Woo, go CTA. And that was the beginning of it. And while I was still at Warner Brothers, I started my coaching practice. And I was working with colleagues. As everybody knows, there's been a gazillion layoffs. So when the layoff came in my instance, I had actually been praying for it quite a bit. So I was ready for that change. Even though I loved what I was doing, I was ready to be out of that toxic environment. And so when that happened, rather than letting the fear-based side, because we live in Los Angeles, it's very expensive here.
Yes, it is.
I thought, oh my gosh, I have to get another job, go back to corporate. And I paused, and with all of the learnings that I obtained through my coaching classes and other mentor coaches that I had, I thought, this is the time to really step into my coaching era.
Right.
And I started up my private practice in a bigger way. I am working at a company called Lee Hecht Harrison, where we specialize in coaching people who are coming out of corporate America due to layoffs. And so I've helped hundreds of clients to find more fulfilling careers, to reframe their mindset, to realize that it's not just corporate anymore. There's so many opportunities. And I love to tell my clients, because I am a double Taurus, and I know you're a fellow Taurus sister. And so I'm very grounded, very stuck in my ways. And I let them know that if I am able to shift my mindset and shift from corporate, one job, one paycheck, to now what I'm doing, which is called a portfolio career, where I have my private practice, I coach for LHH, I do meditation and breathwork classes, I do dog sitting occasionally,
Right.
and I do my art. And I'm so much more fulfilled now in this phase of my career, and I couldn't imagine going back. It's not without its challenges, of course.
Right. I would say, and I know this from experience being a business owner, when the buck stops with you, you have to do everything.
Yeah.
You have to find every dollar that makes its way to your bank account. You can't really count on much. And so it does have its own stress, but the freedom that comes along with it, and then just the excitement that I hear in your voice, this is something that you have pieced together that's in alignment with who you are and what you want to put into the world. I mean, you can't put a price tag on that. And when you're a business owner, oftentimes when you're starting out and you're not making that much money, the trade-off is I'm going to live more simply, and I think that can be an adjustment, but it's also a really beautiful adjustment. You realize that you need less to be happy. You focus on different things. I have a really silly example of this, but I don't have a car right now. So we're a one car household at the moment. And people are like, how do you not have a car in Los Angeles? But it has pushed me to walk to school to pick up my daughter every afternoon and walk home with her. Just that small little thing where I normally would hop in the car, go over, we'd be back in 5 minutes. It's now this 30-minute walk where I get to hear about her day and connect with her. And it's like those little hidden costs in our lives that we're overlooking, I'm finding are huge, and they mean everything.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that what a beautiful opportunity to connect with your little one. And we live in such a beautiful place that you get to really take all of that in rather than just getting in the car, coming, going.
Autopilot, chasing your tail, just like, and the toll that takes on your nervous system. So I'm not suggesting everybody go out there and quit their job. Let's stay safe. Let's make good choices. But if you have the stirring and the longing for something different, start to look into that. Start to be curious, to borrow your word, and see where that takes you and get support. One part of your journey that I think so many women will resonate with is your experience in a long distance relationship. Can you set that up for us a little bit, where you guys met? Where does he live? How long distance are we talking? And what's sort of the rhythm or the schedule of you guys spending time together? I've never been in a long distance relationship. I want to hear everything.
It's very interesting. And I think it depends on the people, because when I met him, I had been single for, I believe, 2 years.
Okay.
Which was a very healing thing. Ladies, I recommend it. Definitely take your time to find you. And that's what those 2 years meant for me, was finding me, discovering what made me tick, what made me truly happy. And so when I met him, and oh my goodness, I used to hate this when people would tell me this when I was younger, and all I wanted was a relationship. I just wanted that Prince Charming, and
that will fix everything,
be everything. And so when I heard other women who had quote unquote made it and had their, beautiful loves, They're like, just you'll find him when you're not looking or when you least
Oh
expect it.
gosh. Yeah. I remember hearing that many, many times too. And it's like, wah, wah. Okay.
Exactly. But I hate to say it, at least in my case, that was true
Really?
because I had kind of given up on it. I was like, whatever. I'm kind of done. I've found myself. I really tapped into an abundance of self love and was like, okay, I'm okay. I know I'm going to be okay no matter what, with or without a man. And then, of course, as the universe has it, there's a music convention that happens every year, and it's called NAM.
Okay.
It's coming up in a week, and all the musicians go to this. It's in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
And so a girlfriend of mine and I went and we're like, we're just going to go party because there's like a lot of live music happening. There's a lot of parties happening. So we went down there and I kid you not, we're in one of the conference halls. They're huge, huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally see my now boyfriend at the far end of the hall. We both like our eyes connect and we're like, oh my gosh. And we ran up to each other thinking we knew each other.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, hey, how are you? How's it going? And then we're like, wait, how do I know you? And he lives in Boston. I live in Los Angeles. So did not know each other at all. Ended up exchanging numbers and we started a friendship, which was really beautiful because there was no preconceived notions of like, oh, I need to impress this person. I need to act this way to attract them. I need to do this. It was just, this is me. This is you. We're friends. We're connecting. And it got to a point where it was 7 years later.
Oh my gosh.
Kept our friendship going and we both found each other single. And we're like, let's see what this is all about. And he flew out here to Los Angeles. And the rest is history.
So you guys were friends for 7 years before you became romantically involved?
Yes.
Wow, what a great foundation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so were you already kind of talking on the phone long distance and you'd sort of built in the infrastructure for a long distance relationship already, I would think, if you were friends for that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're both very independent. And that's a
Right.
key piece here, I think, is, he already had his life in Boston. I already had my life in Los Angeles. And so when we came together, it was that beautiful union of like, wow, like I'm really being mindful of this time that I'm spending with this person and really valuing it and cherishing it. And it works. And it's been really lovely. And we see each other usually about once a month.
Okay.
He's a musician. And so he travels often for his work. And so in between gigs, he'll fly to LA and spend some time.
Mm-hmm.
And usually he's here for like anywhere between a week to like maybe even a couple months, which is even nicer because then we get to really spend quality time together, really getting to know each other on same apartment, same living space.
Day-to-day basis. Yeah. And
really
just when you're about to tire out of that and be like, oh, I need a little space, then back to Boston he goes. I think it's a win-win.
It's kind of the best of both worlds, honestly.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I really do. Quote I heard a long time ago was the thing that's missing in relationships is the missing. You kind of forget to appreciate your partner when you're pulled up so close to them and things become about the household chores and, sharing the finances and oftentimes raising children and animals and all the things, which are all part of a beautiful, full life. But sometimes you forget the larger view of them and what they have to offer just as a human being. So yeah, I can imagine that the distance is really healthy in that sense. Thanks for sharing all of that.
Thank you for asking.
Of course. So I want to step back for a moment to our creative group that we were once a part of. You were exploring sketch work for a children's book during that time, if I remember correctly, and it was so special to witness. Can you share a little bit about that creative calling and what that process was like for you?
This is actually a very magical story.
Okay.
Which I love. It shows the magic of the universe and how everything comes together. So I've always been an artist. In college, I went to art school. I went to the Art Institute of Minneapolis. Art has always been very near and dear to me. And I had written this short story when I was in high school.
Okay.
I was like, I think I was either a junior or a sophomore. And I wrote this creation story about how the stars and the moon create this planet and everything on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just always stuck with me. And so when I moved out to California, I remember distinctly just there was this nagging idea in my head and it just would not go away. It was like, that story, you need to do something with the story. And so I called my mom and dad in Minnesota. I'm like, hey, can you guys go through, like I had these like personal folders.
Of course, yeah.
And I was like, can you find that story? And they couldn't find it. They couldn't find it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I wouldn't have thrown it away. And this little voice inside my head said, go look in your file cabinet because it's there. And there it was.
Wow.
It was with me the whole time. So I reread it and I was like, I need to create a story out of this, a children's book.
Right.
And that was another thing that was really near and dear. My mom, oh my gosh, we would have story time every night when I was a little girl. And she had these amazing vintage fairy tale books that were just so beautifully illustrated.
I love it.
It was so magical. And she'd have our favorite holiday is Halloween. And so she had all these really cute like Halloween books that were vintage about dealing with, like there was one called The Old Witch Goes to the Ball, which if you look at the art is like so cool, or A Woggle of Witches, which is another one that's just brilliantly illustrated.
I bet you know my very favorite childhood movie. Have you ever seen The Last Unicorn?
Yes.
With Mia Farrow as the voice of the unicorn and the Red Bull and all of that. I knew you would know it.
Yes.
So good. That's kind of similar, whimsical, just gorgeous animation.
Yes. So absolutely beautiful. And so with all of this inspiration, I decided to create a children's book based on the story. And again, as the universe answers the calling, I went to my mailbox one day shortly after I found the story, and I got a booklet from Otis Art College. And usually I toss those in the trash. I'm like, well, I don't have time for it, whatever. And this one, it fell out of my hand and it landed on the ground, open to the page that was children's book illustration. Like, okay, universe, I hear you loud and clear.
Right.
So I took the class. It was amazing. The woman who led it, Deborah Lattimore, beautiful illustrator. And so I started my journey in creating the book. And it took many, many years because life came up and then I had other things I needed to pay attention to, but I wrote the book, I illustrated it, I colored it all by hand with colored pencil.
I remember.
And it's done now. So now I'm in the process of self-publishing.
That's amazing.
So hopefully it'll be out to the world in the near future.
Maybe like on Amazon or what kind of, yeah.
I think probably Amazon. I'm also going to try to print some. And there's an amazing, for all the moms out there, even aunties or anyone who loves children's books, there's a store called Children's Book World.
Yes, I know it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking, potentially selling it to them, get it out there, maybe some libraries.
Yeah, there's book fairs that happen here in Santa Monica. Over like at Cloverfield Park I've gone to before, like community events. So you might want to look into City of Santa Monica stuff too. But
that's a great idea.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on finishing it. That's a long time coming.
Oh my goodness. It's been like over a decade. So but well worth it.
It's so amazing to revisit things like that from when you were younger. I recently did some work with my coach that I've worked with for many years, and the exercise was like some inner child stuff, reconnecting with my creativity of younger years. That I've gotten away from quite a bit. But I pulled out journals from being 14, 15, 18, 21 years old that were the beginning of me writing short stories, poetry, and eventually songwriting. And to see all these things in my younger handwriting and my younger feelings, it was like getting to know someone all over again that almost felt separate than me. Mm-hmm. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's nice that we hold on to those things because circling back around and looking at them again is really important, I think.
And that sounds like it was probably a catalyst for you as well, those younger years, because you're such a brilliant songwriter.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And you can feel those emotions through your songs.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times when you would sing for us at the end of a yoga class. And
Right.
oh my gosh, the tears would be flowing. It's definitely feeling the feels.
Thank you. I don't even know if our listeners know I am a songwriter, and my music is still up on iTunes and Spotify and everywhere you get your music. Becky Kessler, folk type music. Used to play shows and festivals and in and out of the studio and play yoga classes, and it was really more at the forefront of who I was at that time. So there's different chapters and of creativity in different ways, and it's so nice to revisit some of those.
Definitely.
How does your nervous system feel now compared to in the corporate world?
Oh boy. I remember one of my coworkers who I love dearly, he saw me when I first started. And then like towards the end, and he actually towards the end told me, he's like, gosh, Jen, you've lost your light.
Oh my goodness.
That really struck me because I'm, as anybody who knows me, usually a pretty bright person. I like to look at the good in life. I like to look on the positive side, and not to I don't sweep the negative that's going on, but as a choice, I choose to live more in the light.
Right.
And so when I heard those words from him, I was like, oh, that I need to make a change. You know, I was 17 years at Warner Brothers and that corporate environment. And when I came out of it, I thought, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. I'm just be like floating around like a fairy. It's going to be great. But it definitely took an adjustment of definitely a detoxification period, a period of finding myself again, because I kind of lost who I was and had to really tap back into what makes Jen tick, what fulfills me, and what lights me up. So I had to go on that journey and take the steps necessary to come back to self. And I think that's where my coaching practice and the meditation and breathwork classes have really been so significant. And that's what's helped my nervous system come back to homeostasis and come back to a sense of calm, even though things are much more uncertain now than they ever were in corporate, but I somehow feel more calm during it, which is wild to me.
Well, I mean, it makes sense to me. That totally tracks because you're more in connection to yourself. You know, that fragmented, disconnected feeling from self is no longer in play. So a little uncertainty weighed with that, it's like so much better. Yeah. And I totally relate to everything that you just said. But the other thing that comes up for me in kind of pivoting and rediscovering myself and what my path forward is what I derive value from, my own self-worth is having to change. It was largely based on productivity or status or money or things like that. And when you're creating your own path and it hasn't gotten to the level in which you want it to yet, that value shift is big too. Like, what is my worth? What am I connecting it to now?
Yeah. I thought the entrepreneurial journey was like, oh, it's going to be easy. I'm going to make millions of dollars and this is going to be so like instantaneous.
Yeah.
Because again, in corporate, it was instantaneous. Like, here's your salary. Here's what you're supposed to do. And
very transactional.
Very transactional. And I want people to understand that when you are embarking on the entrepreneur journey, it takes a while. You know, with the coaching, it takes a while to build up your client base. It doesn't happen overnight, but I think the key is to stay true to you. Stay true to your authenticity and your calling, and it will happen.
Right.
Just as you're applying for, you know, people apply for jobs out there. You're pounding the pavement, you're applying, you're interviewing, thereby you're going to get the job. You keep at it.
Right. Prepare to work hard. Prepare to find the answers to all of your questions on your own. Prepare to be patient and prepare for like a really beautiful journey. Yeah. This episode is called Into the Mystic for a reason. When you hear the phrase soulful journey, what does that mean to you? What does living soul first look like in real everyday life?
I think living a soulful life has been to listen to the inner voice, to not let the critic sabotage what I truly wanted to do. And again, it has not been easy. I don't want to give the false impression that, oh, it's easy. You make a decision, you make the decision, and then navigate and pivot and be able to allow yourself the flow to transform into who you want to be, or who you need yourself to be in that chapter. Because as you said earlier in the episode, we all have different chapters in our lives. It's not always going to be linear.
No. And it's often going to be messy and wander a little bit. Yeah. How do you know when you're aligned and when you're not? What would you say are some of the cues that you get?
I'd say when you're feeling aligned, you can literally feel the energy in your body push forward. And this is a somatic thing. Whereas when you're in misalignment, I know in my body that feels very jittery almost. And it's to listen to those body cues. So a lot of times, as type A's, we push through like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
I could do it. But
keep it moving, get it together, pull up by the bootstraps. Let's go, produce. Yeah, I know that all too well. So it's good to slow down and listen to all those really important cues mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jen, thank you so much for sharing your heart, your wisdom, and your presence with us today. This conversation feels like a deep exhale for me. So let's take one of those all together. And then we're going to do our really fun, silly rapid fire question before I let you go.
I love it.
Yeah. So name a place on your travel bucket list.
Scotland.
Oh, I love that. That's like a good place for you. This kind of like moss covered mystic place. Lights on or lights off?
Lights on.
Okay. A lights on, sister. I love it. What TV show title describes your life currently?
Might sound totally cheesy, and the show is totally cheesy, but I love it. Emily in Paris.
Perfect. Chocolate chip cookies or potato chips?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Amen. What's a song that's sure to get you on the dance floor?
Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso.
I love Espresso.
I love it. It's so much fun. It always gets me moving. I'm like,
that one, right?
Yes.
Who would you pick as your road trip buddy?
My road trip buddy, definitely my boyfriend. We just have so much fun.
That's the best. Great. Okay, so to everyone listening, if something in this episode stirred you, softened you, or reminded you of your own inner knowing, let that be enough for today. If you love this episode, share it with a friend who's on her own soulful journey. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the Hey Girl, Hey podcast. It truly helps this space grow. Until next time, stay curious, stay gentle, and keep listening for the whisper. Hey girl, hey, we're going to say goodbye for now. Keep tuning in for season 2. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Hey girl, hey.